A leading member of the Movement for Change, Samoa, has accused government of witch hunting their member, Hopeson Adorye. Hopeson Adorye was arrested and subsequently arraigned before court this morning after making claims on an Accra-based radio station that dynamites were detonated in the Volta region by the NPP during the 2016 general elections to scare potential voters from going out to vote. Independent presidential candidates and Alliance for Revolutionary Change leader Alan Tremantin visited Hopeson Adorye in custody ahead of his appearance in court today.
Oh, I'm talking to my lawyer, please. I'm talking to my lawyer. Master, what is this? I'm talking to my lawyer and then you are preventing me. Please, let me talk to my lawyer. What is the meaning of that? Are you the only police person? Wait.
The Dansuman Court has granted Hopeson Adorye bail, and it was followed by my colleague Latif Idris. The bail was at 20,000 cedis. Latif Idris has joined me now for more on this. Latif, tell us what transpired in court today.
So Aisha, as you just saw on the screens, today in court we had the accused person, Mr. Hopeson Adorye, in court. He came in handcuffs and supported by a Movement for Change supporters who thronged the court in their numbers to show solidarity for a leading member of the Movement for Change Alliance. Mr. Adorye, you understand he was arrested yesterday and kept in police custody at the Ministry's police station. So he was moved from the Ministry's police station to the Dansuman Circuit Court. It was very brief. The court listened to both arguments by the prosecution and the counsel for Mr. Hopeson Adorye, who started the argument and made the case that Mr. Hopeson Adorye is a public figure. He is well known, of good character. He's never in his life been charged with any offense that has landed him in jail before. And so the court should look based on that and grant him bail. He went further to make the argument that Mr. Hopeson Adorye is a public figure. He's been with the governing party before. He recently defected to join Mr. Alan Tremantin to form the Movement for Change Alliance. And so there is no way Mr. Hopeson Adorye would leave the jurisdiction of Ghana. And so the court should grant him bail. The last argument, which is significant, was that he made a reference to the Attorney General N. Martin Pebu 2015-2016, at which the Supreme Court passed the ruling that every offense in Ghana is bailable. So that was the argument put forth by the counsel for Mr. Hopeson Adorye. The prosecution, on the other hand, resisted any request by the lawyers for bail. They argued that the pronouncement made by Mr. Hopeson Adorye to the effect that he sponsored some 5 individuals to undertake the dynamite explosion in the border town between Ghana and Togo hinges on national security, and so the court should not grant him bail. If they do so, he has the potential, in fact, that's the statement they made, he has the potential of interfering with the ongoing investigations, and so the court should not grant him bail. But after listening to both arguments, the judge decided that Mr. Hopeson Adorye be granted bail up to the tune of some 20,000 Ghana cedis with 2 sureties, one of them to be justified. Now, at the time we're leaving the courthouse, the prosecution had gone back to the police station, that's the ministry's police station, together with Mr. Adorye and his legal representation to go through the nitty-gritties to ensure that all the bail conditions are met and that the surety is verified so that just in case Mr. Adorye evades, the jurisdiction, they're able to go to that particular surety. And so that has been the case at the Circuit Court in Dansoman. We've also been hearing from Mr. Boabina Samoa, who has been sharing his perspective on the arrests and this whole ongoing prosecution of Mr. Adorye. He views it as nothing beyond politics. He says the governing party is very unpopular today. He cited the SML report that has been released by the president, and also the SNIT's divestiture. It's made government unpopular. That is according to Mr. Boabina Sama. So this is throwing something out there to divert attention from the Ghanaian people. So they go talking about the arrest of Mr. Hopeson Adorye and not talk about what is pertinent and pressing issues before the Ghanaian people.
Right, Latif Idris is my colleague who's been monitoring this at the Dansoman Circuit Court for us. I've been joined by Ebo Bachman, who's Senior Communications Officer of the Movement for Change. Mr. Bachman, I'm grateful for your time. This is the law taking its course. Why do you see this as political witch hunt?
Yeah, thank you, Aisha. As you rightly said, we are a country governed by law, by rules and regulations. And so when things that would have to be dealt with according to the law happen, you go accordingly. But if you consider the circumstances that led to the detention, or if you like, the arrest of Mr. Hopeson Adorye, certainly you would agree with some of us that there's political motivation behind his arrest. If you consider the fact that in recent times, Mr. Adorye has been very, if you like, he's been speaking boldly against the government and the policies of the government. So certainly, he's not, found himself in the good books of the government. And so, if you really know what has been happening, you would agree with us that indeed this is a political witch hunt and also diversionary tactics to take our minds from the main issues that are making round and in the political space, if you like.
Thankfully, Haruna Mohammed, who is the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP, has also joined us. I'll have you hold Ebo Bachman and pick some reactions from Haruna Mohammed. How do you react to political witch hunt accusations from the Movement for Change, and also playing diversionary tactics to take the public's attention from the SNIT saga so everybody can be talking about something else?
Thank you very much, Aisha. First and foremost, I say good afternoon to your cherished viewers out there and my colleagues and on the line on this particular show. I think that this is much ado about nothing, because we, the MPP, we are a law-abiding political party. If you remember, nobody had forced Hopson to say that he had sent some dynamite to the Volta region. Nobody has forced him. We have not put those words in his mouth. He made those statements. And if you look at the statements that he made, they are very, very dangerous statements. The police in this country, the security service in this country took up the matter and they went to court. We did not send him to Makola or any other place to beat him. He has been sent to the law, appropriate law agencies to be dealt with in terms of the law. So I don't believe that the matter of witch hunt. I don't know what it is, what is with him just at all that the MPP is going to witch hunt him. There is nothing at all. We are not perturbed. We are not much disturbed. The law is taking its own course, and we have absolutely nothing to do with that particular aspect. We don't consider his matter as any issue at all that affects us.
Mr. Abubakman, what do you intend to do about this?
We respect the decision of the court to bail him. And now we are just leaving the court premises. We are going to have a meeting and decide what to do next.
So the bail condition, has it been met? The 20,000 cedis, and what else was there for you to meet before he was granted bail?
As you rightly said, all the conditions have been met. And so he's been bailed, and he has finally walked out of the court premises. And so, as I said, whatever that we have to do will be done. And that is when we have met and discussed the issues and see the way forward. But as I said, this is clearly, politically motivated. It's also diversionary tactics. The current issues that are making rounds. Mr.
Abubakman, you've just heard the NPP deny this allegation.
They will certainly deny. That has been the practice of the government. They will do something when they get caught, they deny.
But
so
what evidence do you have to prove that they are actually politically witch hunting Hopeson Adorye?
Somewhere last 2 weeks, we had intelligence from within the national security that they wanted to arrest Hopeson Adorye. And so we were expecting something like that all along. But you see the way they did it. They did it at a time that there were pressing issues, or there are pressing issues that are going against the government. So what they just did is a diversionary tactic. I mean, those of us who have been doing this in politics for a long time, you understand some of these things. So we are not surprised that they did it at the time that they did it. They will certainly deny. But the truth stands that this is politically motivated, and because Mr. Hopeson Adorye has been speaking against the government relative to corruption and the mismanagement within the government. And so they are not happy. And so certainly, if they are doing this against him, then it is politically motivated.
Well, Haruna Mohammed is still here with us. Your reaction to Mr. Abubakman?
Ajaisha, I don't understand where he's talking about. The man went to sit on radio, made an irresponsible statement. The right to speech is not the right to responsibility. You make a statement, the police is going after you. You come to a responsible party such as MPP. Now you are telling us that we are witch hunting him. Did we put those words in his mouth? He said so. He said it at the comfort of himself. And I don't think that there is any reason to smear the MPP with this particular allegations.
Did the MPP detonate dynamite in Volta region during the 2016 elections?
He said he did. Did you get the point? He didn't say the MPP. He said he, Hopson. So if he said he, then he has to be arrested. Remember, the MPP as a political party is not a human being.
But he was a member. He was a member of the NPP until 2024 when he defected. And he says he did it for your benefit as a party.
I was part of the national party in the 2020 elections because I was a deputy national communications director. Under John Boydu, there was no any instruction or the flag bearer then, President Akufo-Addo, that somebody should represent us and detonate dynamite in the Volta region. There was no such strategy. There was no such act. We had not put such an activity on our timelines. And we had not ordered any member of our party to go and destabilize the peace of this country through the good people of the Volta region. So if he decides to do something, he was acting independently on his own self. And that is why he arrogated the act to himself, not the political party. We absolutely, if you check the history of this country, we are the only political party that has not conducted coup in this country. We have always done everything through the democratic process. Check from the Northern People's Party up to date. We have never done a coup practice. So we would never and never will send anybody to detonate dynamite in any other place. So he's facing the law. We don't have anything to do with that. It is him. If he stops making statements that will put him into trouble, then he will stay free. Hopson is afraid. We have been together for a long time. But it is high time that all of us as politicians and actors in this particular industry to be careful and mindful of the statement that we make. But we wish that this gentleman will go through the process, and then whatever it is, that is him, not us. We are focused on winning the elections for 2024, and that is what is so paramount to us as a political party.
Haruna Mohammed is the Deputy General Secretary of the NPP. Grateful for your time. Ibo Backman, thank you so much for your time. Let's move on to the NDC, because Chairman of the NDC, Johnson Asiedu Nketia, has accused the NPP government of encouraging vigilantism in the country. Speaking in an exclusive interview on the AM show, Mr. Asiedu Nketia claimed instead of the government condemning vigilantism, it is actually fueling the phenomenon by empowering those involved in it. The NDC chairman says that will not deter the NDC from winning the upcoming presidential election.
Just guesswork, or guesswork supported by something. Right. And in this case, our guesswork is supported by scientific data that has been collected on the field. That's why we are confident. Besides our own internal polls, there are outside credible polls that seem to confirm what we have gathered. So that is a source of our confidence. They are for internal consumption, but they are very consistent with what Global Info Analytics is bringing out.
So can you give me a ballpark figure of if elections, I mean per your last poll, if elections were conducted, what margins?
We are winning 52%.
52%.
As at this month, if elections, free and fair elections were conducted, we should win 52%, and that would be a one-time.
Per your internal poll?
Sure. Vigilantism is rising because it is being encouraged to rise, because vigilantism is what is used to support this, what do you call it? What is being used to support this forced rule that we are experiencing, because there comes a time where decent security personnel will refuse to take certain instructions by political authority. So that is why a sitting government will find the need to recruit and train.
That is Johnson Asiedu Nketia. He's chairman of the NDC. Well, the upcoming elections presents a fierce battle for all stakeholders. All political parties and independent candidates who have expressed interest in the contest are strategizing with stakeholder engagements and campaign tours in their bid to convince the electorates to give them power come December. But a crucial exercise for the upcoming election, the limited voters registration exercise, which is expected to register new voters by the EC, is fraught with challenges. Samuel Mbura puts a spotlight on activities of some of the aspirants so far.
Ghana's general election is just 5 months away, and citizens will decide whether to re-elect the governing MPP or bring in a new leader, as has always been the norm every 8 years. John Mahama, NDC flag bearer, has completed his regional tours and is meeting the stakeholders to propagate his message. He recently met with the clergy, accusing the Electoral Commission of lacking transparency and trust.
There is a president who is appointing politically, exposed people into positions of trust where they are supposed to be neutral and non-partisan. And so people who have been communicators for the party, people who have been IT backstops for the party, today are commissioners of the Electoral Commission. How do you expect them to be neutral and fair in what is happening? People who were patrons of TESCON on campus are today commissioners of the Electoral Commission.
His comments were backed by Nana Kwame Mediako, also known as Cheddar of the New Force.
I have put a petition on behalf of the nation against it, asking the EC to reconsider this duration and extend the time for us. 27th of May, this practice is supposed to end, making it exactly 20 days. For 33 million people as a nation is certainly not enough, certainly impossible to make it right.
Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, MPP flag bearer, is also on his regional tours, making a case for his candidacy. He has, however, taken a break to commission the much talked about Kaye Empowerment Program, a promise he made on behalf of the government in 2019 to build hostels and provide employable skills for head porters.
When I made this promise on behalf of government, there were many who thought it was not a realistic promise. They thought it was not possible. They said it was a 419 scheme. But I knew that inshallah, it was possible.
Meanwhile, other political parties and the movement for change are strategizing in silence, waiting to roll out their campaign strategies at the peak of the campaigns.
The New Patriotic Party in the Nkranza South constituency is alleging that its parliamentary candidate for the 2024 polls, Harriet Opon, was assaulted by NDC thugs during her monitoring of the ongoing limited voter registration exercise. Constituency Secretary of the party, Efum Chum Isaac, at a press briefing in Nkranza, claims the actions of the opposition NDC, fueled by the MP of the area, is fast becoming a trademark of the party and an attempt to discharge and discourage potential registrants from participating in the exercise. He's called on the police to act swiftly to prevent any further violence in the area. Anna Sabit has more.
The alleged incident was said to have occurred when the 2024 parliamentary candidate for the New Patriotic Party in the Nkranza South constituency, Ms. Harriet Opon, visited the premises of the Electoral Commission to monitor the ongoing limited voter registration exercise. Constituency Secretary of the party, who addressed the press, Efum Chum Isaac, said NDC thugs who were equally at the scene without provocations hurled insults at the driver of the parliamentary candidate and threatened to beat him before attacking the candidate herself.
On that said day, our parliamentary candidate, Madam Harriet Opon, visited the EC premises to observe the ongoing exercise and offer support and encouragement to these young people within the community who have decided to perform their civic responsibility of registering as voters. Not long after she had arrived at the canopy where the MPP team had gathered, some members of the NDC, without any provocation, started hurling abuses of at her driver and went further to threaten to beat him. Before one could ask what the issues were, the entire NDC leadership, with the machetes and axe, wildly high tax, rushed to the MPP area, pushed the candidate who almost failed, but for the timely intervention of the people gathered, she was picked away to safety.
The MPP says the attack by the NDC thugs is fast becoming a trademark of the party, with a member of parliament for the area, Emmanuel Ajikuma, alleged to have acted in similar manner during the 2016 registration exercises, a move the party says is an attempt to discourage potential registrants from participating in the exercise.
We wish to put on record that what happened on Saturday is just one of the several incidents that have happened since the registration exercise began. There have been countless attacks on our people. This tactic seems to be the stock in trade of our member of parliament in the person of Emmanuel Ajikuma, as we witnessed same in 2016 during voter registration exercise.
The New Patriotic Party, according to the constituency secretary, remain calm and law-abiding, adding that its candidate will not be distracted from embarking on the numerous developmental projects executed over the past couple of years.
We in the MPP have remained calm and law-abiding all through this shameless episode because we have a country to govern and we have a parliamentary candidate who has a story to tell. In fact, Madam Harriet has a story to tell. And no amount of intimidation or distraction will stop her from letting the people know of how abysmal Mr. Ajikuma has performed as Member of Parliament.
He, however, had a message to the Ghana Police Service calling for a swift arrest of the NDC thugs before the unexpected happens.
For no one is above the law. We have reported the incident to the Divisional Police Command, Commander of Nkranza South, and we expect nothing but the arrest of these thugs. We are law-abiding people and committed to uphold the law. We will not engage in any illegal activity, but we cannot stop the youth and the people of Nkranza from defending themselves against violence.
Anna Sabit, Joy News, Nkranza.
And this is your election brief. It's on your election headquarters. Election headquarters is for an informed electorate. For more of the news and updates of all the developing stories, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. Over there, you'll see a lot more there with SML scandal, prosecutor Furiata and cronies causing financial loss to the states. That's Martin Pebo, and there's a lot more there when you log on. Do enjoy the rest of our programs.